Hi everyone. This is the second last, or penultimate if you want, lecture for this semester. It's the second last video I'll be posting on here. Next week I will post one that just kind of outlines the final assessment. It used to be an in-class thing. We're going to do it online. I'll detail all that later. This week's assessment or video here is more about the assessments that are coming up, namely the final research paper and the process reflection. By the time you see this clip, you will have handed in your outline already, and I will probably already have some sort of feedback to you on that. So similar to the proposal where I provided quite a bit of feedback on things that I'm looking for going ahead, the feedback on the outline is focused on what are things that you might want to consider or build in as you write that final draft for me. So that type of intensive feedback is what you can expect again at this stage. And then when we get to that final paper itself, I'm less constructive in a sense because, I mean, you already handed in the paper, so you can't do much at that stage. Instead, I'll be kind of just wrapping things up and commenting on the paper itself. Now, for right now, if you have any questions, please email me with those. Use the Outlook email because it's easier for me to be on that email more frequently. You'll get a quicker response that way. And I also won't lose anything because obviously eConestoga is not a grand system for emails. The second part of this clip is going to be short, but is going to focus on the process reflection, which kind of works in tandem with the research paper. It's an easy mark, just we'll walk through it. You don't have to worry too much about this other than getting it done. So the final paper itself is due April the 15th. It's due at midnight. It shouldn't be too difficult because by the time you're going to see this, you're going to have at least a week, if not more, to put everything together and submit. Now, everything that we've discussed in classes that's been discussed in this section of the class is going to be expected on the final, and that includes some of the online lectures that we've talked about. It's the culmination of everything you've been working towards in this class all semester. So it is only natural that everything is going to be expected. The next slide is going to outline a brief checklist of things just to look out for when you do submit. I'm going to be pretty merciful when I grade these. I'm more interested in your ideas, but at the same time, I want you to make sure you're checking off the boxes so you don't lose marks on stupid things like citations and whatever. This is also worth the most of anything. Anything we've done in the class so far has either been a combo package or a quiz or whatever. And this assignment here is worth almost as much as all the other written assignments combined. It's also worth the same amount as all of your quizzes combined. So there's a pretty high stakes in this particular assignment. I want to make sure you're in a good spot. So build on the feedback that you've been receiving. I don't know really what kind of feedback you received for the analytical paper because I didn't grade those, but I took over at the proposal stage. I've done the outline feedback. Use that type of feedback to build into that final paper because it's all related. You're building on the same topic, the same research, the same information. So here's what I want you to look out for. The first thing, you need a strong introduction. And in a sense, I want you to jump right into your topic. I want you to be overt and establishing your presence as a writer in the introduction early on. Make things really applicable to me as a reader right from the start. And your main argument should be available. We can focus on thesis and whatever. It doesn't have to be a single line necessarily, but the argument should be present. The body paragraphs themselves should have lots of analysis. One of the things I will have been pushing you on in either the proposal or outline stage is to use examples, but also analyze what those examples mean. If you're falling off in any way, shape, or form on the final, it'll probably be because of the analysis or lack thereof. The conclusions and recommendations have been covered in a previous video clip. I think it was 2 weeks ago, or no, it would have been last week. Sorry about that. Go back to that if you're not sure about where you're going. I want you to go beyond kind of just a summary of what you've talked about. I want you to be able to apply some sort of meaning for me to understand how I can act upon your topic. In terms of your examples, whether that's a paragraph that has a direct quote, a paraphrase, statistics, an anecdote, whatever, the examples need to be integrated in the body paragraphs to some logical degree, in the sense that they prompt your analysis. The paragraph writing module that I did provide, there's a little template under class materials. It's something that's worth reviewing just to see how you can integrate some of those things. Your in-text citations and reference list are an IEEE. Make sure that they're there. I'm not looking for perfection on these at all. I just want to make sure that you have a clue on how to do it and that you can put the paper together with some semblance of structure. When you actually go to put the paper together, you're just expanding on the outline and you're putting it into paragraph form. You're going to have the intro, the full body, the conclusion, all as kind of like sections. Think of them instead of just individual paragraphs. They can be sections. You know, your 3, 4, 5 pages. Please, you can go beyond the paragraph limit. Like, it doesn't have to be 3 body paragraphs. Make it as large or as small as you need to make your argument salient. Otherwise, if you have specific questions about your paper, please just reach out. I'm willing to answer any questions that you have between now and the 15th when you submit. The last thing that you're going to encounter here, though, is something that kind of piggybacks off of the final paper. It's a process reflection on the final paper itself. It's open now, and it's open until April the 16th. You may not be in a good position to do this now because you're just receiving feedback on the outline. But between now and the 16th, so the day after you're finishing the research paper, you're going to have an opportunity here to it's under quizzes, but just do a quick little assignment that reflects on the process. The best advice I can give you is actually, as you're submitting or finalizing details on that final paper, also jump in and just do the process reflection. Think of it as an extension of this final paper assignment. It's super simple. I cannot stress that enough. Essentially, if you do this thing, I'm giving you a decent grade. I think it's a mark out of 5% or whatever. This is almost a free 5% if you do it well. You do this with some sort of effort, I'm going to give you either a 3, a 4, or a 5 on this thing. Take advantage. I promise you, it's not hard. There are 3 questions. I'm going to show you those in a second. I might have to show you on the master copy, so your screen might look a little different, but don't sweat it. You're going to have the same questions. And the answers, I want you to give me a solid effort at least. Think of it as a small paragraph for each answer, similar to when you did the quizzes themselves. So any of the grammar quizzes or whatever, or the labs, that's what we're going to be expecting in terms of just your elaboration. The more deeply you can delve into that and the more you can kind of give me a good solid argument, the better off your chances are at getting the highest grade on this assignment. So I'm going to end this here, and I'm actually going to show you that quiz. It's under quiz section. It's not really a quiz, but whatever. If you go to course tools, quizzes, you're going to see a bunch of stuff you don't need because it's the master. But you're going to eventually see the process reflection. I'm going to show you all 3 questions and explain what I'm looking for. So, question 1. How did the earlier stages of the research project help you to produce the final draft of your research project? I don't care which stage you look at. I don't know if you want to really focus on the library's research skills activity. It's pretty rudimentary and boring. But you do want to be able to do the proposal and the outline. Focus on 1 or 2 key aspects of this. You've been receiving feedback at each stage. So maybe focus on something that I've highlighted in that feedback and use that as an example to build your answer. I'm looking for like just a basic paragraph here. Don't reinvent the wheel. Keep it simple. The second question is focused on problems. So identify one aspect of the research project process that was challenging for you and explain how you tried to overcome this challenge. I would, I want you to actually delve into this and try to give me a legit answer, although I know that bullshitting this could very well be the best approach. Um, I've been giving you feedback both on the proposal and on the outline, so you have feedback from me. You know what I'm kind of looking for. At each stage, I kind of identified something that you'll want to focus on. So maybe grab one of those components, list it as a challenge here, and then just talk your way through it a little bit. Again, one paragraph should suffice. Give me a reason to give you as high a grade as I can. The last question, I'm having a hard time explaining this one, but here it is. What did you learn about the process of developing a large project in stages? And how can this experience help you to be successful on future academic or professional projects? Um, this question, I know you're just going to bullshit it. I know you're going to give me some BS answer. I'm okay with that. If anything, just make me laugh. Give me a good paragraph that kind of makes stuff up as you go along. You can try and answer this legitimately, but many of you are just going to kind of roll your eyes at this. It's kind of a goofy question. Treat it as such. Give me enough that I can work with to give you a grade. So if you have any questions, please email me at the Outlook email. The more that you can kind of focus at this stage, get that final project in the next week and a half, get the reflection done, you're going to set yourself up for success. Next week's video, we're going to be short. We're going to introduce the final assessment. You have nothing to worry about. You should be feeling good by the time we get to next week. So I'll talk to you all later.